Sure.
So till yesterday we had seen. Let me actually open the Visual Studio. So till yesterday we had seen that how we are going to acknowledge the request from the S3 and trigger the file identity lambda, and if the file type is JPG, then we were looking to start the recognition lambda, and today we are going to see what happens if the file type is PDF. Okay, so then we are just going to see text check lambda. So in this lambda function, the application that we use is basically called is text tract. So if I come here, this is what it says. It can actually automatically extract the text data from actually any sort of documentation. Okay, so if you have some data and if you want to get that or store that into some databases or data warehouses, or maybe you want to just use that for some analytical purpose, so you can just extract the data from using this service and save it on some S3 or somewhere else, and then you can use that data. Okay, so this is the benefits and all those things. So if you want to learn more about the text track, you can go through this page. As we are not in the machine learning side, that's why I'm not going to explain this too much. And see, again, I'm repeating the motive of this mini project is not to learn machine learning, understand image analysis, or understand text track. It is more important that we understand how lambda flows, how we can interact with some other services, how to do some data manipulations, how to call other lambdas, how to save the file, how to trigger the file. Those are the actually important topics that we should focus upon. Okay, and I have chosen these services because these are better interesting services. That's why I have chosen these things. So yeah, if I come back to my lambda function, let me just do it like this. I will take it and save it on my Visual Studio Code. So yes, so as you see, this is something I was saying you from the start of this course, that when I introduced the lambda functions, that lambda functions start their execution from the lambda handler. And if you see, the first function that we have here is start job. Okay, and anyhow, if you see, I have defined this function, but I have not called this function. So until unless I call the function, it's not going to start. So in this code, we actually have to come down. Okay. So first we need to find the lambda handler function, because I have told that lambda handler is the entry point of any lambda function, and without that, no code actually can run in the lambda function. So I just have to find that lambda handler here. And if you see, here I have my lambda handler function here. So this is the place, this is the actual line number 64. My code is going to start processing the execution. So it doesn't matter that whether we define lambda handler below or above, or whether we define some functions or on before this, or even if we try to call those, it will actually not work. Your code execution will always start from lambda handler function. Now from the event that we pass, so if you see, if the file type is .pdf, then here also I pass the same events that I was passing in the recognition lambda. I pass my bucket information, key information, and actually same variables I pass here also. So here also I am actually getting my from my event that is going to be triggering this lambda function. I am going to receive my bucket name. I am going to receive my file name or the key of that particular file. Okay. Then next line is basically I'm saying we are going to start a job. Okay, we are going to call this function actually start job, and if I find this function in my code, this is where I have defined my start job. Okay, so if I again come back here, this statement is basically calling a function for me. Okay, understand this part, that this start job is a function. It expects 2 arguments. Okay, and then it calls a function that is its code is actually defined above. Okay, as an argument I am passing my S3 bucket name and my document name. Like I'm calling it document name. It's if I talk in simple language, it is just a key of the file that we have passed, or you can just call it a name of the file also. Okay, but I am calling it as a document name, just a variable name. So you can name your variables as per your choices. So if I come back to start job definition, so this is where my start jobs definition is defined. It expects 2 arguments which I have passed from the call statement, and then I have created a client of TaxTract service. That means for this service I have called a client. That means now I will be interacting with this particular service. I am actually creating a client, then I'm calling start document text redaction API of my TaxTract client. Okay, and it actually needs 2 mandatory arguments, that is your S3 object, and in this it needs bucket name and the name of the file that we want to use for extraction purpose. Okay, so basically what's happening here is we are going to start a job on our extract service. Okay, it is not actually going to extract any data or store it somewhere anywhere else. Okay, it is just going to start a service. That means it's extraction or detection, you can call it. It's going to start that particular part. Then what will happen? It will start a job for us. Okay, if you just read the documentation for this, if I go on Boto 3 page, function is this one. Okay, so you see it starts a asynchronous detection of the text in document. That means it simply starts a detection, then we have to handle some other details also. Okay, so it starts the execution and it returns the job ID. Okay, this job ID actually we are going to capture from the start of the response of this. So if you see here, this is my request syntax. Okay, here I have, just a second now. Sorry, I needed to shift the room. Yeah, so I was saying that, when we request the syntax, so basically we are passing these two information. Okay, this is what we are passing and these are the mandatory one only. And using this information, using that document that we have passed, it's going to start a job for us. And in response, if you see, it basically only returns one thing, that is your job ID. So when it starts the execution, it's going to give you the job ID, and using this job ID, you can actually track the status of the job. So same thing actually we are doing here. We requested the syntax and this in response, we are going to get the job ID, and this actually I am passing it back as an output of this function to this statement. Okay. Basically when I call this start job, okay, when I call this actually let's do it like this. I am going to copy this on Notepad++. Okay. And I'm going to copy the other one also. Actually, a bit easy for us. Okay, so if you see now, we are actually calling this function first. I'm calling this start job. It's going to start the job, and it's going to return the job ID. And this job ID, I'm actually placing in this variable called job ID. I mean, this job ID is actually same, but here on line number 1, it is a variable, and on line number 14, it's a one of the keys that we get in the response. And if you see in response, we only get one key only. So it's easy to get one. So yeah, this is first part of the job. OK, once our job is started, once we have got the job, then so see now again, don't get confused. Execution will not come directly to is job completed. OK, execution will not come directly to is job completed after define start job. It will come back on this line only. OK, it will come back on this line only. Once the start job is completed, we will get the job ID here in this variable, and we are going to print this job ID here. Then I'm checking if is job completed job ID. This means again, is job completed is a function. OK, is job completed is a function that I have defined above. So this is my is job completed. So now I am actually tracking whether my job is completed or not. OK. And before tracking, I am saying time.sleep 5. That means, see, if I do not write this function, if you remember from the Kinesis side, we had our time.sleep there also, and we did it for 2 seconds. So if I do not include the time.sleep, the records were getting generated within a milliseconds only. And same thing is here. If I do not include the time.sleep here, this is job complete is going to check my job in every few milliseconds. OK, in not even the milliseconds, it's going to check that those job in a fraction of the seconds, you can say. But we do not want to do it like that. What we want to do, let's say every 5 seconds or 10 seconds, we will check if my job is completed or not. That is the reason I have included time.sleep here. OK, again, I have created the client here in this function. So remember, the client that I have created here is not accessible in this function. So if I do not create a client, if I do not create the client on line number 21, my code will throw the error. OK, so now I am checking the this job completed. I am saying get document text detection. That means get the status of my document text detection job, and I am passing a job ID here. OK, it requires job ID, and I'm passing that with my variable called job ID. With this, if you just check this document also, so it actually says gets the result of for an Amazon text track asynchronous operation that detects the text in document. So it's actually basically just going to get a result for us. OK, whether its job is completed or not, and its request syntax is something like this. We need to pass job ID mandatory one. OK, other tokens are actually optional. Then this is the response syntax. So basically we are interested in the job status, whether job is in progress or it is succeeded or it is failed or it is partial success. So first we are interested in this part. So what we will do, I am getting the response from this, and from the response I am getting my job status. That means this key I am fetching. OK, and I am printing job status here just for the printing purpose. I'm saying a while infinite loop I'm going to say, and I'm saying while status is in progress. I mean, till the time status is equals to in progress, I'm going to repeat this process again and again. OK, and I'm going to get my response again and again with 5 seconds of delay. OK, unless my status changes from in progress. It might be succeeded, it might be failed, it might be partial success. But in progress means job is actually running and we need to check it again. So this is what my is job complete is doing. So I have gone through two functions. So let's do it like this. So yeah, this is my two functions. So you can, we know that these functions are starting one by one. So first start job will start and then is job completed will be executing. So I require you to, go through line by line here and try to process this in your mind that whether you are able to get this or not. And if you have any questions, please let me know. So you have any questions here?
No, I don't know.
Okay. Okay, I mean, maybe you can, we have on weekend from tomorrow, so 2 days you will have. Maybe you can try to complete this mini project in from your side, and maybe you will get some errors, issues, or you might have some questions. In that time, you can maybe ask me. Okay, but see again, maybe this use case might not be very relevant to you, but the use case in the sense the text track thing. Okay, but approaches that how to create functions, how to return response, how to return outputs via functions, and how to call services, how to apply while loops, approaches, syntaxes, examples. That's why I have created this mini project for you. Again, my control is going to come back where my is complete is defined. Okay, and if it response is there in incomplete, then it only I'm going to get a job result. Okay, this means when my job when my job is completed, its status is actually changed from uh, in progress to maybe failed or succeeded, whatever it is. Then I'm going to get the job result function executed. So let's see the definition of this get job result. This is where it is. I just get a job ID in the input. Okay, I create a list of pages. Again, I pause my code for 5 seconds. I create a client for text track. And this time I say get document text detection, same function that we had used earlier. Earlier, we just verified whether the job is completed or not. This time, I am going to get the response. So if you see, we should have a response here. Okay, from response. Yeah, the complete response actually I'm appending into the pages. Okay, complete response I am actually appending into the pages. Okay, and then like whatever I get, I will append this into this list. If you understand, if you remember, in the first week of class I told you append method of the list. This appends the variables in your list. This response is going to be appended in your pages. Okay, so you can see the response there. Okay, and if we have multiple pages in the response, then if we will get this next token in the response, and we are going to get the next response from that. And till the time next token is there, we are going to loop through around this response and going to append the results into our pages list. Okay, like this, one by one, all the pages. Let's say if I put a PDF of 10 pages, then all those 10 pages one by one are going to be appended in the pages in this list called pages here. And that list, like after all this processing is completed, my job response I have got, I'm just going to create a date time date variable. Like it is all same thing that we have done in the recognition lambda, creating our date time and date variables and converting the output into like first of all we are creating the target file location as we created in the recognition lambda in the target folder. This time if you see, the only difference here is like here I was calling my target file with the name as labels. This time I'm calling it a document because the data that we are going to store in the file, we have detected it from the document. Okay, I will get my PDF or my file name. Then same way like we did a for loop for the other one. I am just looping through my result page from the response, and from this response actually we get the blocks. In the blocks we get the items, and then if we have one more line there, okay, I'm just actually just looping through the my responses and just appending it one by one into my final string. Once my final string is ready, I'm adding unique ID details, PDF name details, final string, confidence score. I've hard coded this. Okay, it does not result the confidence. It does not return the confidence score. This is the reason why I have simply hard coded it into my output. I have uh, like earlier when I created this final string. If you just come back to my recognition lambda code, this is my recognition lambda code. Do not get confused here. Okay, we had called it object. This time the hard coded value I'm passing as a document and then date. Okay, this is my complete response. Once I get my response, I'm going to save it back on to my S3 location using the put method. Okay, this is again the same code that I had used in the recognition lambda. Actually, it's always the same code. Whenever you want to write some file on S3, you will say bucket name, key name, then the body, and in the body you have to pass the data. This is the complete code. Look into this code from here. Okay, and if you have any questions, check this code very precisely, try to process this in your mind, and then we will answer your questions if you have any doubts there. Okay, tell me, are you guys getting it, or it's completely, it's completely confused for you? Because I was expecting some questions, some discussion. I mean, if you're getting it, then it's actually really great. But if you're not getting it, please let me know.
I am getting something, but something I'm not getting. But I missed the yesterday's one, so that's why maybe there is a disconnect. So that's why I'm not asking question.
No,
So
but still you can ask the questions now. I mean, if it is some connection or something, I will, direct in that direction. But yeah, you can ask the questions. Don't hesitate on that side actually.
yeah, actually I'll go through this, and then if there anything I'll ask definitely questions.
Okay, okay. I actually definitely. Okay, let me actually just do it right now because I forget later. I will just share the code with you first. Text direct lambda. See, if I tell you this programming now, first of all, again, I'm saying the same thing from the day one. If you understand the basics, okay, the small pieces of basics write a good program. So if you see here, I am creating my target file name, nothing but a string concatenation only. Yes, I am using a replace command here. I use on the OS path. I mean, it's just a replace command, nothing else actually. And then it's simply a string concatenation. Okay, this is working in the date time. Okay, it's working in the date time library, nothing else. Some for loops, again string concatenation. Okay, uh, here it's if condition. Yeah, function, you can say something. I actually not covered in the initial classes. We have seen these functions only in the lambda functions. Okay, but if you see the functions are just simple functions we have created, and even if I don't write the code in functions now, it will still actually work. Functions are just there to create pieces of the code. So whenever big code is there and we want to get the information from the code, so it's easy if we have the code function by function. Okay, we might create documentation here also for the functions. And nowadays you have generative AI also available. Maybe you can pass these functions to generative AI, and that can actually also put a comments here, or put some expression here if you still have doubts. And always, I mean, I'm there definitely. And if you see this part, it just a string append. Okay, nothing else. String append here we have, and it is assigning the variables. It's printing. It's a simple if condition. Yeah, time.sleep is something new, but it's actually very straightforward that we want to pause the code for 5 seconds. Okay, so let's do it like this. I am going to run this code. Okay, so to run this code, basically all that we have to do is, like earlier we were passing the JPG image to execute the recognition lambda. This time what we will do, we will pass a PDF function. Okay, PDF file that we are going to pass. So it my file identity lambda function will redirect my code to this text to detect lambda function, and then it's going to call this function. So let's just do it. Okay, so we do have source here, and I have a PDF file here, the small one. I'm just going to take action and move this. Okay, so I have moved it, and this will actually start my lambda function. So all that I have to do is go inside the monitor and click on the view CloudWatch logs. I mean, I know that this time this function is going to get triggered, so I am definitely directly going on this log. And if you see, it is already executed, and it's executed on 2023 06/9. And let's see what we have here. So you see my job status says in progress, then it says succeeded, and we just received one page inside the result. OK, and this is actually the output. This is what we have inside that PDF file. OK, and this is my final output that I have got from my this Lambda execution. OK, so if I just take this and maybe just paste here. So okay, if I just do it. This is my unique ID. This is the PDF that I'm hard coding here. This is my PDF file name, PDF file. If you see, this is my PDF file. OK, I'm saying PDF file. Then also I'm replacing dot with underscore. That's why we can see PDF file underscore PDF. This is what we have inside the PDF file. OK, this is what we have inside the PDF file. Then we have the confidence hard coded because this does not return the confidence score because it's almost accurate. That's why we are going to say 99.9%. Then the document is hard coded. Then date I have passed programmatically here. This is my final data that I'm going to get here. OK, so like this, I'm going to get the output. And if you see, the schema here is absolutely consistent with the recognition Lambda. As we are placing the output in the same bucket and in the same folder, the schema is absolutely consistent with the recognition Lambda. There also we have the unique ID. Then instead of PDF, we have image. We have file name. We have the name of the label. That means car, lion, pet, or whatever we are seeing in that image. The label is there. Then we have the confidence score. Then instead of document, we call that object, and then we have date. So schema is absolutely same. So that's the reason we are placing the output on same bucket and same folder. OK, and let's actually test it with the AWS AI ticket also. So I'm not sure how much time I'm giving here. If I come in the configuration part and general configuration, yeah, it's 1 minute. It's more than sufficient enough. So I'm just going to move this file this time, the AI ticket PDF. And if I come on the CloudWatch, and this time if I come here, OK, in the same string, actually, we will get that. OK, so if you see, this is the data that we have got from my air ticket. So it is a ticket that I booked last 2 years back for my journey to Dharamshala. So just that the data has been printed like this here. And if you see, this is going to be my final output. So if I just come down here, this is going to be my final output. That means unique ID, my file name, file type, sorry, my file name, and from here to here, this is the data that I have got in my PDF file. OK, then my confidence score, my document type, and my date. And if you see that we have some commas here in the document, OK, this is the reason why that we do not use comma for a separator of field, because in that case, my code can get confused that it will terminate my fields here only, and it will create a number of fields. So comma, that's why this is the reason that comma is not a great separator. And see, actually, you might not be able to guess like what we are going to do with this. So see, with on the PDF, on the Word documents, we cannot do any sort of analysis. OK, but let's say some PDF generates documents we are generating. Those could be your bills. Those could be your medical bills, some reports, or some anything. It could be maybe tickets also. OK. So those tickets you can convert in text, and then you can analyze those, like which kind of tickets you are selling more, which kind of medical suggestions are given more, which kind of bills are, and that means any data that like right now in the world, any data that you generate that can be analyzed. Okay, that is actually the motive that I'm trying to say here, and this is exactly what Chat GPT also has done. If you understand, if you learn about their this process of building this generative AI, so they just took all the data, converted it into unstructured text documents, and fed it to its machine learning models for training purpose, and that's how they were able to build a successful model for generative AIs. They are converting each and every document, each and every blocks to this text documents, text like this, and then using it for the training, something like that they are actually also doing. So yeah, if you have any questions, you can ask me. Okay. Otherwise, we are going to start with the final project from Monday onward. So this is the minor project, and in the final one, we actually going to see the proper data engineering pipeline. This I was focusing more on the Python syntaxes, on the Lambda practices that I was looking to tell you more about the Lambda functions and some Python codes. Okay. So yeah, in the final project, we are going to learn more about Glue, Spark, SCDs, Redshift, and those things we will learn. So yeah, if you have any questions. Okay, I mean, if you have no questions, I mean, then we can wrap it up. And I will expect that you try these things from your side, maybe on this weekend. And I'm requesting you again, please try hands-ons without hands-ons. It might look easy on the classes or in the code explanation, but without hands-ons, it's not going to work for you. So I suggest please do hands-ons. Please try it. Please take out some times and try to execute these codes on your AWS accounts. Lambda is a free service, or you can say in the free tier, like we have enough amount of free quota, so we are not going to get charged. So yeah, that is also taken care. But do not overuse that. Okay, some executions are fine. I mean, overuse means only one thing. If you can take care, the recursive invocation, then everything is going to be fine. Just do not make your Lambda recursive.
Okay, Jalaj. Yeah. Thank you.
Okay then. Thank you.